All right, so we've got to have a little video here on how to use Visual Studio Code. I think that's going to be easier than the pictures. I gave you some pictures, and there's some pictures on the web. But yeah, it's easier to actually see it happen. So first thing I want to call your attention to is these little buggers along the left-hand side here. Those are going to be important. This one is the Explorer window, and the Explorer window is kind of useful. Basically, this is the Explorer. Okay. You can search for stuff, not so handy for us. Source control, not so much. Debugging, no, not going to use this. This, though, if you are on the school computers, or if this is the first time you're using Visual Studio Code on your computer, you want to go to Extensions, and then we're going to type in Lego. Lego. And there it is. And we'll click on that. It says, oh, look, information. You would still have the install here if you haven't installed it yet, so you install it. All right, that's easy enough. Once you install it, this lovely little thing shows up. I'm not really quite sure if that's like the Mindstorms logo or something, but anyway, let's click on there. And we have some options. We can create a new project. There are some example projects to explore. If you have time, they're kind of cool. And then there's the user guide, which is basically the same website that I've already given you links to. So that's right. So let's create a new project. Okay. So when you create this project name, the name is actually going to be the name of a folder, and that folder is going to need to get stored somewhere. And then all the files you create within this particular project get stored there. Now, for the most part, there's going to be one file. That's going to be the main.py file, because you have to start from main.py to do anything. So basically everything we do has to have a main.py. So when you do different versions, ideally you're going to make a whole different project, which gets a little tedious, but it's workable. It's workable. All right, so let's see how this goes. So I'm just going to say testing is my project name, and I'll press enter. And it's going to say, where do you want testing to go? I've got a little Lego Creations folder already set up. And so I'm going to say, great, that is an awesome place for that to be. And it goes through its little thing, gets itself set up. So now, actually, it says up here, testing. It also says over here, testing. Those are the folder name that I'm currently working out of, also called the project. So you can think of it either way. Mostly, you keep that one piece of code in there, this main.py. So let's go click on that. When we click on main.py, it comes with some preset items. And that's not what we need. So actually, I have a file I've already created, which I called Pybricks header code.txt, and it's both on Blackboard and out in the M drive. So either way you want to get it, that's cool. And then you can bring it in here and just cover right and paste. Boom. All right, so that's our basic setup. So then we can go through, first of all, though, I want to point out this little circle up here. That little circle up here says there's been a change to the code since the last time I saved it. So if there's a circle I have not saved recently, and I should. So let's do that right now. I'm going to do Control S. Boom, it's saved. All right, so I can also do that under File. There's the option of Save. You can also open other folders. If you want to make a whole new thing, basically you just go back here to make a whole new project. And within the new project, you can set up a new folder. And then you can open that. You can get files from other projects. So if you open File, it will go get a file from a different project. So you have something you saved somewhere, you want to bring it in somehow, or just open it so you can see it. Open File gets you there. All right, let's go back to here. So I've got my basic stuff, but let's actually put in there what I need. So as opposed to typing this all up, I'm just going to go and paste what I already have. All right, so I've got some code in there now. And again, the little circle shows up to say you haven't saved. All right, now I've saved. So we've got some code in there. So now I've got code in there, I'm going to go ahead and plug my robot in, which I already have on. It takes about 1.5 minutes or so to boot, so give it some time. All right, so I'm going to plug into the PC outlet on my brick. All right, so I plugged in to my robot, and now it says click here to connect a device. So I click, and up here is where a little list comes up and says, oh, you want this one? Yeah, that looks cool. I'll click on that. Okay, cool. So I got my E3T dev, and it's yellow because it's still trying to talk to the robot. Green, we're all good. Awesome. All right, if you want to download something to your brick, you just push right here. So I'm going to go download. We did that. Awesome. Now, if I open this is how you open folders. If I open that, and then I can drag this upwards so I get more room. If I open that, I can actually see what is currently on the robot. And I have a couple different things working here. I just downloaded my testing, right? That was the name of the project. It was the folder we set up. So that's what's in here. So I'm going to open that folder. And there's my main.py. Okay, so I've got main.py. And I can right click on it. And I have the option of running it. Running an interactive terminal. The interactive terminal can be really cool at times. So you might want to try that to test things. In order to do that, though, you have to put some print statements into your code, and then it'll output to the window. That can be handy, but if you need to, ask for help. We can delete something, which is nice. Like I might want to get rid of one of these other folders, because it can get crowded on your device, and the screen is really small. So we might want to delete stuff. I can upload stuff back. So why would I want to do that? I can upload files that I create. So when I'm running, I can generate capturing data points. I can capture data points that I've generated. So maybe how long something is taken, or what's the light level that I'm receiving. And those are actually shown here in my code. All right, so I got those, and I'd like to see those, so I upload them back into my computer. So we downloaded to the brick, and we can upload back to the computer. All right, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so I've now got that on my brick, and I want to run it. So I'm going to push that center button on the brick, and it's going to take me to a screen in my file browser, and I'm going to have to pick the fact that I want to go to testing, and I click, and I go down to main.py, and I click, and I get oh, there we go. I get a little triangle that says it's running. You can hear it running. Now, I want to see the log file it just created, so I'm going to click refresh. It actually generated 2 logs because I did ask it to do that. Let's look at one of the logs. So I'm going to upload one of the logs. I'm going to rename this, though. Say test1.csv, and we'll save that. Okay, so now I have uploaded test.csv into, but here's my test.csv. So I'm going to click on it, and there's all my data, which is really handy. This also opens in Excel. A CSV file is something that Excel is meant to work with, but we can capture it here as well. And it shows us data. We don't need to worry about what it is right now, but there's the data. We also have this option of an arrow log. So the arrow log can also be shown. So I'm going to upload that. There it is. And you can see error log stuff. So it was actually producing a count, and the count is part of my code to go through. So it just showed the count. So that's actually not so much an error as it was output that I'd asked for. That's basically the main pieces to this. That's what you need in order to get going. I hope it was helpful. Ask questions if it's not.